Hi gamers. This collection update is gonna be a bit longer than usual. I got closer to 20 games here, so let's dive right in. First up, got my Switch games. And let's start with Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield. I got the dual back Steelbook edition here, which includes the two games and a Steelbook case that can house both of them. So a pretty cool little addition. Got the map here on the inside. Now, like I've said, many times in my videos, I'm a really weird Nintendo fan in the way that I'm not a Pokemon fan. I guess I was just slightly too old when the craze first started out. I wasn't playing with my Game Boy at the time, and it kind of went under my radar thanks to that. And I never picked it up. I have, as a game collector, of course, I have a pretty sizable Pokemon collection, and I'm really happy that they finally made a Pokemon game for a home console, even though it is a hybrid console. But still, it's a home console, especially to me. I mostly play at home, and so it's finally nice to have a mainline Pokemon on a home console. And from what I gather, it's not just a home run. It has some hiccups, but I would just chalk those up, to the being the first of its kind. And definitely it's gonna improve on the inevitable sequels that are coming for the Switch. So, but I think for most fans, it doesn't matter what the smaller or larger hiccups there is on the games, and they're just really happy to be playing the game, and the sales figures really prove it. And then we got Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games Tokyo 2020, and it's really amazing that there are very little Olympic Games made. I'm not sure if I think there was like one Olympic game that has come out, during the last 12 years that isn't a Mario and Sonic game. So Nintendo and Sega got a really nice lock on the market there. Not sure how the licensing negotiations go. And what's really amazing is that the first Mario and Sonic at the Olympics on the Wii, it's still the best-selling Sega game ever. The best-selling game that Sega has ever made. At like 5.5 million or something like that. So that's pretty amazing. So really happy that this is on the Switch as well, and it has some really nice retro events as well. Some 8-bit graphics. Got here Overwatch Legendary Edition. It's just a download code. Also includes 3 months of Nintendo Switch online time. Then we got Layton's Mystery Journey, Catriel and the Millionaire's Conspiracy Deluxe Edition, coming in from the 3DS, and it's I think they could have picked a better Layton game to remaster on the Switch. I think this has some puzzles that are like. They don't have the right answer. They're like just trying to fool you, just for the sake of fooling, and you can't know the answer just by thinking. You have to get it wrong for one time or something like that. So that's kind of iffy on the puzzle part. But other than that, this is pure Layton quality on the puzzles. The story isn't as good as some of the better Layton games, but it's still nice that the series is continuing, and hopefully this will sell enough on the Switch and that they'll remake some of the previous Layton games as well. And then we have Luigi's Mansion 3. I'm a big fan of Luigi's Mansion. It's my favorite launch game on the GameCube. It was a short and sweet game, like 5 hours. So a really different Mario game. Well, it is a Luigi game, and I was really happy that Luigi got his own game finally back then. And it's really nice that it's an actual franchise these days. And number 3 here, it's a lot longer. It's a pretty long adventure as far as Luigi's Mansion games go, and there's lots of puzzling. You know, some really nice brain teasers here, and with the introduction of the Luigi character, and I would say that most of your time you're doing something else than battling the ghosts. And for a completist collector like me, I just like to rummage around all the furniture and every drape and everything for cash, coins and diamonds and everything. I gotta find everything, so it takes me a lot of time to progress through the game because I can't leave any corner untouched. But yeah, looks really great. Lots of great lighting effects, and actually I really love the beginning of the game. It's Mario and Luigi and Peach and a couple of Toads just on this RV going to a hotel, and they're living like a normal life. It's really rare to see that in a Mario game. That they're doing something else than adventuring and jumping on Goombas and eating mushrooms. They're in an RV going to a vacation. Just a fantastic little cutscene. Check it out on YouTube if you don't own the game. Then here also for the Switch, I did a separate video for these 3 games. But from Super Rare Games, I got a trio of Switch games: Machinarium, Rive Ultimate Edition, and Toki Tori Collection. So Super Rare Games are this company that makes indie games into physical editions, and check them out if you're interested. One of those rare companies that actually operate in Europe, so you have your PEGI symbols here, but of course the games are region free. A couple of more Switch games. So this is, I think this is a record number of Switch games. Got here Ring Fit Adventure. It's a big box. My fiance has been playing this, and yeah, she's pretty into it. She definitely sweats after a workout is done, so this really works, and it's a really nice peripheral, the ring that you can manipulate and move around, and it's one of those Nintendo things, and I think the sales for this have been really good, so that's always nice for Nintendo. It's not like Wii Fit good, but still pretty good for this metal ring basically. So not even any technology in the ring itself. So just places to hold your Joy-Cons. Yeah, there's boss battles, and you're actually going in on an adventure, and they cleverly disguise your workouts as like attacks or something like that. So nice and innovative package, something a bit different, and this has the Mrs. Finn Gamer's seal of approval. And one more Switch game. I got Starlink Battle for Atlas, and of course the Switch version is the one to go for because it has Star Fox characters and the R-Wing. So this is a really cool starter pack. Got this for like I think 20 euros, so it was a pretty good deal, and decided I was gonna pull the trigger and get this for my collection. Nice big box. Some cool items here. Okay, so that's finally it for the Switch games. What have we got next? I guess we could go for some Virtual Boy games. First up, I got here Waterworld, the only licensed game on the Virtual Boy, and it's a pretty bad game. I gotta tell you, not a lot of gems on the Virtual Boy, and this definitely isn't one of them. But it's of course part of my complete collection that I'm trying to get, and this is one of those games that's exclusive to the US, so this wasn't released in Japan at all. Also got a second Virtual Boy game, Space Invaders, which is one of those Japanese exclusive games. And this is one of the big four on the system, but this, in terms of rarity and price. And this cost me like 450 euros, so definitely not a cheap game, but it's nothing compared to the other three that are still missing from my collection. Got the Gundam game, and Virtual Bowling, and a Virtual Lab. So those three games I'm still missing. I think Gundam is like under 1,000 euros, whereas the other two are over 1,000 euros. So not sure if I'm gonna be pulling the trigger for on those anytime soon. Maybe when I'm going to Japan next year, hopefully. The next time, then I'll try to source them locally, and at least avoid any customs charges, something like that. But hopefully I could get a decent price on those three, or any one of those. But we'll see. So 3 missing from a complete Virtual Boy collection. And continuing on with Nintendo, got a couple of more games here. I got Face Training for the DSi. And yeah, this is Nintendo's first party game, one of those touch generations games. And I got this for €1, and this was a pretty good deal. This is completely unused. Got everything inside here, even this stand. Let's see, like a cardboard stand that you can put your DSi into and hold it upright. So yeah, for €1, a Nintendo's first party game, can't top that. And I've never seen this spine here that has the DSi logo, and only for DSi says here. So I'm sure that there are others, but can't be too common. First time I'm seeing this. And one more Nintendo game. If you follow me on Twitter or Instagram, you'd know that I was in France a while ago in Paris, and of course I was there with my son, basically at Disneyland. But of course we went to all the usual tourist attractions. Also went to Louvre, and I knew that they had their own 3DS game, and here it is. So this is the Nintendo 3DS Guide, Louvre, and this is the actual software that they use on their 3DS guides that people can get at the museum. So you can get a 3DS at the reception and put on headphones, and you can walk around the exhibitions there, and you got to look at pictures and read text on your 3DS cartridge, and you got a narrator on your ears, and yeah, you can buy it, take it home after you're done with the museum. Sadly, they were out of English versions. I can't believe that it's actually really rare that you can find an English version there, because they're always sold out. I can't believe why they don't make enough of them. They said to me that they get a restock 2 times a year. So I was there at a bad time, but I got a French copy. There were Japanese and Spanish and German and all these other languages as well. But I thought when in Paris, I got the French version here. It's fine. I'm just gonna keep it sealed anyway. So it's an pretty interesting collectible, even in French. But I would have preferred it to have it in English. So that's it for the Nintendo games, and got a couple of retro games here. First up, for the PlayStation 1, I got Twisted Metal and Twisted Metal World Tour. Yeah, these were pretty nice find. I'm actually kinda feeling bad about it, because I didn't know that these were, you know, as valuable as they are. These are like 40-50 euro games. And I went to this flea market, and there was this nice lady selling their PS1 with like 7 games, and these two were part of those games, and they caught my interest, and I, you know, asked. She was selling the PS1 and the 7 games for 20 euros, and I asked if I could buy these for 10 euros, you know, 5 euros a piece, so that, you know, she could get 10 euros and still have a pretty decent console bundle there to sell. And she agreed, so I got this for 5 euros a piece, and made a really nice profit when I realized at home, when I looked at eBay, what the prices these are going for. So I kind of felt bad, but then again, I think she's happy there. She I think she got, you know, more money than she thought. You know, I think she sold the remaining console bundle for the same price that she was trying to sell it for, this 20 euros. So I think everybody wins, but still, I wasn't trying to rip her off or anything. But yeah, nice to have, nice to add these to my collection. Then 2 games left. One for the Xbox One. I got Gears 5. Haven't opened it, sorry, can't say anything about the game itself. And finally, a game that I thought I'd talk a bit more about. I got Death Stranding. But before we get into talking about the game, I want to reward one of you who has made it through the end of the video. I got the collector's edition of the game. Check out my unboxing now if you already haven't. And one of the things in the collector's edition was the original music soundtrack, Timefall, of Death Stranding. And one of you can get it. So here is the download code, and here are your instructions on how to redeem it. Sadly, it's in only Nordic languages. There's Finnish and Swedish, Danish, Norwegian, but if somebody can decipher that, the music collection is all yours. Now, then we get to the game itself. Now, first up, I wanna tell you that I'm a huge Metal Gear Solid fan. I've played all the games in the MGS series, and Metal Gear Solid 5 is actually my most played game ever. I played that almost 400 hours, mostly the FOB stuff, and you know, I love grinding. I love collecting all the resources and building my base and everything. You know, I'm no stranger to that, and I love it. And you know, that being said, and just a word on this, I think I'm like halfway through the game, so I've played like 30 hours, and I've done everything. I got all the 5-star, you know, the preppers, and all the cities are at 5-star rating before I advance in the game. So I think I'm halfway there. So that's where we are at. That's just wanted to get that out of the way first. And I gotta say, I'm not a huge fan of the game. I'm gonna play it, and I'm gonna collect, as much as I can, because that's the way my brain is built, and it's clear that they are aiming for, for the, you know people who like to collect things and do everything and tick every box. The game is really aimed at those people, and it really resonates with me. I can't not do everything here, but it is so repetitive. First up, it feels kind of cool. You're in the first area, and a couple of your first deliveries are, you have the cool music, and it feels like, yeah, this is something really unique, this is something different, and I can really get into this. And then it happens again and again and again and again, and the cool music just happens the first couple of times, so it happens over and over and over again, and there isn't any new music even. It's just you walking around and delivering packages. Everybody knows this, of course. That's the game, and that's what the internet is buzzing about. But it doesn't get different enough for me. Even though people call it a walking simulator, it's actually not a walking simulator. You're most of the time in the game you're in some kind of vehicle. First it's a bike, and then it's a truck, and a truck is my weapon of choice for hauling huge amounts of packages all over the land without having to worry about the terrain too much. And you can just drive on by the terrorists there, and love the truck. But it's just too similar all the time. The world is cool at first, but then again you have to, it's not large enough. There's just not enough variety in the game world at any given moment, because you're just delivering those packages back and forth between the same towns, and then you're allowed to advance, and then you go to the next area, and it's the same thing. It's just too little gameplay there. And the thing that I love the most in Metal Gear games is, of course, the plot and the cutscenes, and that's the best thing here as well. Kojima does those well, and it's always a big deal when you get a new cutscene. But those are just too few and far between, the cutscenes. Most of the time you're just looking at holograms of the very few people that are in this world. There's just not enough people in the game world to make it feel alive. Because you don't get to see inside of the cities and anything. Just look at the holograms that are saying the same stuff. No matter how beat up or how pristine you get the packages delivered, they still say the exact same thing. If you're take 5 minutes or half an hour, and they still say it, yeah, you're fast. Wow. So there isn't even the dialogue there. It's just false flat. Of course, there are things that are there are plenty of things that are the firsts in gaming, and there's lots of things that make you feel like ooh but after the initial wow factor, they just don't shuffle the gameplay around enough for this to be an actual good game. This isn't a bad game. I would just say it's mediocre, and as such, it's of course a disappointment. Now I know that you people are gonna give me some heat. I think this is mostly well received, with some bad reviews here and there. But I just I'm gonna finish it. It's not a bad game, but it just could have been so much better. But then again, well, this is the first Strand game ever, as the marketing hype guys say. Kojima, among the first of them, saying that this is a totally new type of game. So I guess I should at least give them the benefit of doubt, and the inevitable sequel is gonna be a lot better. Hopefully they're gonna be able to, take into account all the valid criticisms that people have, switch things up a little bit, and something that would have been really cool, that you could actually, share a game world with your actual friends who play the game. Of course, not everybody has enough friends on their friends list to do that adequately. For them to have the game world enough of the structures and stuff like that, and just from your own friends. But for those people, you could play the normal online mode that the game now has as default, or as the only way to play. And I just gotta tell you, the game world, it looks really cool and rugged, and there's some nice vistas there for you to look at. But then they add all of the player signs and structures and everything, and just becomes like silly. It just looks ugly with all of those neon colored signs, and because every place is just filled with the signs. Less would have been more. Something that you're walking through the terrain, and you see something. Oh, what's there? Oh, it's a sign this way. Okay, I found this generator or something like that. But there are so many generators, so many watchtowers, so much everything. It's just everywhere, and it just oversaturates everything. It doesn't feel special enough. And it's just strangers putting their stuff everywhere, and it would have been really cool to have a shared world with your friends, and have a name that you can recognize. Oh, he or she made this piece of road, or he or she made this bridge. Great, I'm gonna like that, and it would feel so much more meaningful. But now it's just randos there, and you get tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of likes. So even that loses its meaning. You don't know how the game works with the likes. I have some structures that have 0 likes, and that just can't be the case. But then some structures have tens of thousands of likes. So how does that work? And that's something that Kojima would really need to address in any inevitable sequel. That just make it more more meaningful. Lots of the game mechanics here, sound great, but they don't really affect anything. You have lots of different. You can shower, you can take a piss, you can leave the signs, you can drink your Monster Energy drink and everything, but they really don't affect the gameplay all that much. Whereas there are just so many things that would improve the quality of the player's life if they implemented them properly, like skipping the shower cutscenes, for example. They have to cut the shower animation into 4 different pieces, and so if you want to skip that, you have to press 4 times the start button and 4 times the skip button, and just takes a ton of time And if there was a way to, skip everything, when you're playing dozens of hours, you've seen it all for dozens of and dozens of times. So it would just be really, really nice for you to able to skip everything. You don't want to waste any more time that you're already wasting, doing the same deliveries that you've been doing all the time. So yeah, lots of quality of life improvements in my mind are possible, and again, hopefully they'll do it on the sequel. What else? Well, this is sounding overly negative. I would say that this is like a 7 out of 10 game. I'm not sure if that rant sounded like a 7 out of 10, but I was waiting for like at least a 9 out of 10. So it's just a disappointment, and just more variation to everything. Be able to skip whatever you want to skip with ease, and just put the cutscenes a bit more evenly, and raise the stakes on most of the deliveries. Instead of just being a package, one package is no different than the other package. They get like 45-minute delivery times. It's the same as not having a delivery time at all. So yeah, some variation to the deliveries themselves would have helped this the most. That's the thing that you're doing the most. So variation in that would have been really a welcome addition. But it is it's still a very ambitious game, and it is, of course, a Strand game isn't a genre, and that's just marketing people talking. But it's still a very unique game, something that hasn't been done before, and I hope it's the beginning of something really good. And I hope Kojima Productions is gonna go on to really great things. But their first game just isn't what it was supposed to be, in my opinion. Let me know in the comments if you disagree. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.